Hello and welcome, friends. Okay, so this video is going to be a little bit different than some of the other things that I've pre-recorded, and don't be surprised if there's lots of interruptions and I pause it to take a minute to focus on what I really want to say. Please understand something. You're like, wait, first of all, Jen, you look really, really tired. Actually, my energy is really good. You're seeing the physical three-dimensional version of Jen. No, you're not seeing the spiritual, emotional, higher self of Jen speaking right now. So please be patient. You need to understand something. What I'm going to talk about in this video is many different aspects of your spiritual journey. Okay? Why are you doing this, Jen? Well, because basically, for the most part, the messages that I get from my beautiful community, which are you guys, is understanding your thought process in your spiritual journey of figuring out where you're at and what you need to understand of where you're at and what it means. And we're all stair-stepping all the way through it. That means someone's down here, someone's way up here, and there's lots of in-between stages, okay? So what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to break it down the best way I can. And the way that I connect in a three-dimensional world is actually through music and words. So in the description box, I will probably put some songs, and I will try to put a marker of where you need to listen to a song. If this is you and it means something to you, you guys are beautiful about sending me music of what resonates with you, of what you think it's supposed to mean, and what it could mean, which means a possibility. So I totally understand music. I've known it since the day I was born. I remember being a kid and just being a tiny little baby, and music resonated with me. It just set right. Now, I know the frequency was not set right. It wasn't higher hertz the way it was supposed to be, but it was the fact that it was a goal. I was focused on making sure that music became a beautiful message. Yes, I understand. We can get into, well, that's not a good artist and they're demonic, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the message behind the music, okay? So if I use music and I put it in a reference, it just means don't pay attention to the artist, pay attention to the message, okay? So a lot has happened this weekend, and it has been very, very positive. I don't even have the words to describe what has happened. Nadia is in town. She's been with me, and she will tell you herself that when she walked through my door, it took me a minute, and it took me probably half the afternoon just to look at her and go, is she real? Like, is this happening? Is this because I don't like being in the matrix? I don't like being in the three-dimensional world. So seeing a physical body walk into my house, I don't allow anyone into my house. I don't. It's the 8 of us into our house. Family's not allowed. We just don't, because I already cut that off. And we'll get into that as well. It took me a minute to just look at her. Of course, I gave her a hug and I loved on her and like, welcome, welcome, welcome. But she will even tell you, she goes, you're just not quite there. And I went, no, I'm beyond there. And that's the hard part. I have to pull myself back down to a three-dimensional world going, is this happening? And that's been the hard part. And I've talked to Nadia, and you know, we've worked through that process, and our weekend was so beautiful. Man, we accomplished so much. Manifesting, doing cleansing, and some healings on not only my family, but other people in the community that we just love and want to bring a light to. So this video is going to be a little bit weird. I'm pre-recording. I don't want to do this live because I get too distracted. Energy pulls me, spirit pulls me off into a direction. You guys know that. If you know me, you know Jen's not going to focus. I need to stay focused. So I'm pre-recording this based on subject matter. The first thing that I want to focus on is understanding individuality. Like, what are you talking about, Jen? We all know that we're individuals. I don't actually think that people grasp what individuality means, because everyone is connected to someone else in their life, correct? You're either a spouse, you have a spouse, you're a sibling, you are a child of someone, you are a parent of someone, you're a cousin, it doesn't matter. Whatever form you want to put it in, okay? In a three-dimensional world, everything is connected. Everything has a line. Guess what? In a 5-dimensional, 12-dimensional world, everything is connected. That doesn't change. What we do with that energy is the difference. In a 3-dimensional world, we are focused on 3-dimensional problems. We are focused on how does my energy affect that person? Maybe not to the level of what you think. We're thinking, just family relationships. It could be financial. It could be a job interaction. It could be coworkers. It could be a lot of different things, okay? What we want to find the division is, yes, guess what? Even in spirituality, there's division, but it's for the positive. We are going through a process of where we're starting to see the physical division that's been brought upon us, okay, of how they absolutely made it a determination to divide us, but for all the wrong reasons. They use race, they use religion, they use cultural differences, different parts of the world. They use all different kinds of things. Well, we have our own division as well. Spiritually, we don't focus on the division of religion. We don't focus on the division of the color of your skin. We don't care. Who gives a crap? The division is, on our end, spirituality. That means the level that you're at. Where are you at? People may get offended if I say this, but I am going to say it. Are you a bad sheep and you are in a 3-dimensional and you're an NPC and you just don't, there's no soul there and you're just walking through the motions, right? An NPC is just a non-player character. That's all that means. It just means there's no soul contract there. You have nothing to lose, okay? The people that are awake and aware of their spirituality and their growth process, no matter what stage that's at, is beyond that. That means you have a human soul, you are of your creator source, and you've moved beyond. If you're even watching this video, you're not an NPC. I'm pretty sure you're not. You could be, but just out of curiosity. Okay, I don't try to lump everybody into one category. And I love my brother Jay for mentioning the 144,000, and I believe that it's multiplied. It's not a set number. It is multiplied. And convincing someone of a lie that you're part of that is totally wrong. Why would you lie to somebody and say that you're part of a collective that you're not, and you're not doing them any good? That's a different story for a different show, okay? Please understand something. Not all of us that are here are meant for a specific role of our Creator's army and that kind of stuff. You have a different role. There's nothing wrong with that. And lying to people and telling them that they're a part of something that they're not is not helping the situation. So I want to start out with the first thing. Understanding your individuality. What does that mean, Jen? Well, I understand that I'm Jen and I know who I am. What does that mean? We're going to split a lot of hairs here if you want to. You know something's not right. You know something doesn't sit right within your spirit and your soul. Well, that's proof that you're not an NPC. Okay? A lot of people are going to disagree with that. That's okay. We're all on different levels and we have difference of opinions. It doesn't mean that we're all wrong and it doesn't mean that we're all right. It just means that we're on different levels of ascension. We're in a three-dimensional world that says you need to believe and tangibly see and touch proof. Okay? Do you understand that? I have beautiful spiritual people in my life that absolutely know that they are of the creator source, but absolutely have to have an egotistical three-dimensional proof that something's happening. And I don't have a problem using tarot, and that's what I do, to bring confirmation in to reassure them that no, this is fake, this is real. Whether they choose to believe it or not, that's not up to me. That's on them. Understanding your individuality, and I also agree with Brother Jay when he says this about sovereignty. Understand when I say sovereignty, that means in a three-dimensional understanding your nationality and where you come from in a three-dimensional world. If you come from a free nation, you should understand that you are sovereign in that nation, that God gave you a sovereign spirit, and you should act upon that. That you don't answer to man-made laws, you answer to your higher creator. Sovereignty in a higher level beyond three-dimensional, sovereignty doesn't exist because it is what it is. It just exists. You are one with your creator. You don't have to split hairs. You don't have to try to define it. But there is no definition. Jen, you're confusing me. You've lost me. Okay, I'm done. Because beyond three-dimensional, you don't have to explain yourself. You just know who you are because you've gone within and you've figured out who you are. I know that I am created by my creator, my father and my mother. Let's not put hairs. We're not splitting hairs here. We're not talking about Jesus. I have a Christ consciousness, and that's our goal. It is called a Christ consciousness. I don't care what religion you are and what you call it. You can be Muslim, you can be Buddhist, you can be Christian, you can be Krishna, you can do whatever you want. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Hindu, it doesn't matter. There is a Christ consciousness, which means, pretty much as far as I understand, you can correct me if I'm wrong, and you can cuss me out, and you can do whatever you want to. We as a collective, in all of those faiths, not man-made religion, leave that out because that's crap. In your internal spirit, we all agree that there's a higher level that you need to get to be with your creator. Correct? There's no explanation there because you are who you are. That's your individuality. That's your identification. You don't need to explain it to anybody. You go within and you just realize, you know what? Screw you. I know who I'm at. I know where I'm at. I know who I am. What we do is we look for validation in a three-dimensional thought process. Is it necessary? It's necessary if you want to stay in this realm. Do you want to stay here? If you do, no questions asked. Then question everything, and we all question everything. Then stay where you're at and be okay with who you are. That means you're going to fight for national citizenship, and you're going to fight for my sovereignty, and I'm going to stand up for the Constitution. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. We have to live here. We should defend ourselves. Of course, I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm talking about is when you realize that you're so much higher than that, you start looking within going, okay, y'all can fight over your Second Amendment. Beautiful. Go for it. Because you're willing to stay there. You know me. Honey, I'm all about that. You're going to defend yourself. As long as you're staying in a three-dimensional world, you better know what you're dealing with. You better know your sovereignty on an earth plane, right? We call it plane, flat surface. Understanding that there are many levels to these planes. I know, Jen, you've lost me. Why are you talking about this? Because we're all over the place. And somebody needs to clarify it. Whether you agree with my clarification and my version of it, that's up to you. You don't have to. But what I am going to tell you is your individuality is your self-identification of who you know who you are. That is not the flesh. That is not what you can tangibly touch, feel, and anything like that. Who are you within? That's your consciousness, that is your spirit and your heart, your soul, and where it comes from, and who created it. There's no discussion about sovereignty. It just is what it is. Jen, you've lost me. Okay. I don't know that everyone's ready for that. If you already know what I'm talking about, you'll tell me. I'm sure you'll tell me in the comments, or you'll email me, or even call me or text me and go, you done lost me. Sorry, unsubscribe. Honey, you do you, darling. Well, they say, you do you, boo. I don't care. It doesn't affect my ascension. I have to force myself to stay in a three-dimensional realm because I'm here for a purpose, for the collective. Do I spend most of my time in the 4D and beyond? Yes, I do. I do. Jen, why do you look like crap all the time? Because it's hard to come back down here. When you spend your time in a higher dimension and understanding there's no question of who you are, because you've gone within and you're connecting with the Christ consciousness of what it's supposed to be, coming back down here in a three-dimensional world is extremely draining and exhausting. If you look at any of our brothers and sisters and you see bags under their eyes and they're just exhausted, you know how much energy it takes to come back down here? And yes, I will say it, you're reducing yourself back down to what you were. Because your empath in you and your love for humanity and your brothers and sisters that are still stuck is so strong that you're willing to do it. And that's me. I believe that's a lot of people in our community. We've got a lot of people in our community that are stuck in between. They're like, I'm there, but I'm not there. What do I need to do? And I'm like, just do it. Let go. Well, Jen, how do I let go? Part 2. How do you release and let go of things that you're so attached to in a three-dimensional world? This may be shocking to some people. This may be very hard to swallow for some people. But let me give you an example. I personally, and I know that my husband and my family can speak, they took a little bit longer. I was willing to do it a long time ago, but I held on. But I will tell you this. I don't want to sound nasty and ugly, okay? Because people are who they are, and there's nothing you can do about it. What we do in this community is we do not interfere with people's free will, and whatever their soul contract is, that's on them. You are to take care of your soul contract, your ascension, your inter-Christ consciousness connection going within. This is what I did. I cut ties with everybody. I turned it off. I don't have contact with any family outside of this home. If you're not under this roof, I do not talk to you. Because they're not ready. There's nowhere near ready to even think about it. When you question everything, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't have a problem with that, because you should question everything. You should always question spirit. You should always question everything. When you're so stuck in a three-dimensional, I have to have physical proof, and I will not act on faith and belief and spirit, I have nothing to do with you. We left our church. We left everyone behind. I have no physical, verbal contact with anyone beyond my house. Well, Jen, that's horrible. You became a hermit. Like, what are you doing? You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to be part of a collective. You're supposed to be part of a group. Remember, we talked about individuality. We still need a collective as well. You are correct. Who is my collective? Get a mirror out. You're my collective. Because you wouldn't be listening to this if you weren't. This is the channel. This is the people in the chat room. We don't always have to agree on the level of where we're at. We agree that we're not where we were. Do you understand? Understanding your individuality and understanding where you are in the Christ consciousness, the best advice I can give you is stand in front of a mirror. And if you're still tearing yourself down at God's creation, you're looking at God's creation in a reflection, and you go, well, that can't be me. There's no way that I could be up there with God and be one with God. There's no way I could have that connection. There's no way. I didn't say you were going to be a God. I didn't say that. It just means that you're a point of light that God created and we're all connected. What I'm saying is, if you look in a mirror and you see trash and you continue to trash it and you continue to trash everything around you, the only thing that you have to do is one thing. Stand in front of that mirror and I want you to spit on it. While you're doing it, you're doing that to your Creator. You're spitting on your Creator and telling Mother and Father, yes, there are two. You do not have to agree with me that there is a divine feminine, but yes, there is. How is that possible, Jen? I don't know, because I ain't Jesus. Yes, I said Jesus. It's Christ consciousness. That is not a Christian statement. That is a conscious decision to make sure that I know who I am in a higher consciousness, in a higher realm. Spit on the mirror and tell your Creator that you made a piece of shit. That's what you're doing. Your Creator made you very specific. Well, my God loves all of His children all the same. Horseshit. No, He does not. No, she does not. That is horseshit. And as long as you try to convince yourself of that, you are not going to ascend to the level that you need to be. You are not made equal to your counterpart. I am not made equal to my husband. I am not made equal to Nadia. I'm not made equal to any of you in the chat room. You know what we are made? Uniquely. We are each uniquely made because we are our own individually made through our Creator's eyes, spirit, and soul. And the energy that was put behind your individuality, go back to part 1, understanding who you are. Collective, very important. Individuality, even more important. Okay. Had a pause. I told you there'd be pauses. That's okay. Interruptions will happen. Anyway, see if I can remember what I was talking about. So, breaking free of three-dimensional things, and if I get off track, just rewind. You'll get on track and I'll get back on track of where Spirit wants me to take it, because I'm allowing my higher self and I'm allowing my Creator to take over my words and my thought process. Yes, I have individuality and I have understanding who I am within myself to speak for myself, but I also allow Spirit to come in and guide me to make sure that I don't lead you astray. because it's the last thing I want to do. Because if there's one thing that I have, if you want to, lack of a better word, preach to people, my integrity is everything to me. What I am in my own home is what I am to you on camera. If you walk into my home, like Nadia did, I am who I am. I don't change. My personality didn't change. Nadia knew who I was going to be when she walked into my home, and she was cool with that. I didn't change that. Yes, there was a shock value because I'm looking at this person going, I have to get into a three-dimensional. Yes, she's physically in front of me. But because I've had a spiritual connection with Nadia for so long, whether it's past lives or whatever, I know Nadia, and it was so comfortable. It's like, hey, come on in, whatever. Make yourself at home. It took me a minute because I'm just sitting there trying to soak it in. Going from each level, 3-dimensional, 4-dimensional, 5-dimensional, that's hard. That's the hard part. Grounding yourself. Nadia's way up here too, but we also bring ourselves back down to a physical level. I'm trying to understand. I'm looking at this person. I'm sure that she went through this when Deb and Joe went to the retreat. And they may have had to just have that thought process of, this is happening. This is real. Your integrity is everything. You don't change who you are because you're putting on airs. Believe me. I knew Nadia was coming. Did I have special things done to the house or special foods brought in? No. I did cook for Nadia, and I knew her preferences and what she would and would not eat, and I took care of Nadia. Please understand, integrity is everything. You invite your community into your home. If you come and meet me, whether it's at the retreat or some other way in the future, because we are going to do it. What you see is what you get. Jen may have makeup on and she may not. Who cares? That's not the point. That's a 3-dimensional thought process. Who is Jen as an individual? And who is Jen? Is she the same person when she's in a collective? That is the thought process. So going back to how do you leave behind what I call letting the Creator take the garbage out. Well, that's a little harsh. Well, Jen, you can't say that. Letting the Creator take the garbage out. No, I let the Creator take the garbage out. I said, I want you to remove anything from my life that's going to keep me from ascending and finding out who I am. What is keeping me from going within and finding a higher Christ consciousness of what I need to do to find a connection to you on a deeper level? Yeah, it comes down to screw everybody else. Well, Jen, you can't say that. That's nasty and ugly. You can't be doing that. Yes, I can. Yes, I can. And I did it. There is no family involved. After my mama died, no, that was a whole other level. I have no grandparents left who were my spiritual leaders growing up. Nothing. Do I have people that I do keep close to my heart? Yes. Miss Courtney? Yes, I do. She's my dear sister, and I love her. We may not talk very often, but she's there as well. She has suffered the same heartache dealing with man-made religion, man-made chains and turmoil that the three-dimensional world keeps you in. It doesn't matter if it's family, a church, a faith, a religion. If you are held within those bounds, you're only limited as far as you're willing to go to escape it. Well, Jen, I just can't pick up and just say, fuck you to all the family and say, screw you. I can't just say, oh, screw you, fuck you to all of my faith and my church, and I can't do it. Oh, really? You can't? Or you won't? Well, Jen, I can't do that. That's, man, you're pushing it. I could lose everything. Yeah, I did. I lost my home. I lost my family. I lost everything. I had to start from scratch. Well, Jesus, Jen. Well, now you're pushing it. I'm not doing that. Then don't do it. Why is that so hard to understand? Then don't do it. You are you within you. You're not ready. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not illegal. It's not wrong. It just means it's okay with where you're at. Well, Jen, I want to ascend. I want what you have. I want what Nadia has. I want what everybody else that has all these beautiful gifts. Do you understand that you have gifts of exactly where you're at? You just don't want to access them, or you're terrified of them. You are scared. You are absolutely terrified of who you are and what you can become. Because that means you have to say bye-bye to a lot of things. It is what it is. It could be in this realm, it could be in this lifetime, and it could be past lives and all that horrible karmic recycling and reincarnation of all that crap. People call, like I said before, people can call them family curses or whatever you want to call them. That energy stays with you. Forgiveness, release, letting go, moving on. That is very important to figuring out who you are, because as long as you're weighed down, picture yourself, you're free and you're clear and you have nothing. And then you add all that garbage in, whatever your current situation is. It could be family situation. It can mean your job. It can mean the people that you hang out with. It could mean financial. It could mean a whole plethora, okay, of different things. Each one of those have a weight. And just picture chains hanging on you. Here's something that most people can associate with. All right, Charles Dickens, and he did, with Ebenezer Scrooge, and all the chains that, what was his name? God, I'm going to draw a blank. His partner had to deal with. He just drug around all the chains. And he's like, I can't let go of this. Don't let it happen to you, because it's just going to drag you around with eternity. Yeah, it is. When you start cutting those cords and cutting those chains and going, I'm not doing it anymore. Do you really feel that you're responsible for their decisions and their life paths and what they decide to do with their own life? Well, Jen, I can't just ignore them. They need my help. As an empath, I agree and sympathize and empathize with you because you want to fix it. Now you have to ask yourself, is that your job? Are you hanging on to, I have to look good in the community, I have to hang on to my church, I have to make sure that I keep the peace within the family because no one else is going to do it. If I leave the family, it's all going to go to hell. You ask yourself, what are you serving? What is your purpose and why are you serving it? Is it working? Is it working? Jacob Marley. Wings just says, his name's Jacob Marley. Thank you, Wings. Thank you, precious. Jacob Marley. So you don't want the chains. If you really want to let go of the chains of the three-dimensional world, are you willing to cut ties, cut the chains, cut the cords, and let it go? It's a warning system. How far are you willing to go? you don't have a limit. You have to understand your individuality doesn't have a limit because you're up here with your creator. And I agree with Brother Jay when he says the terms of sovereignty and independence are three-dimensional terminology. When you're up there, you don't even think that way. You just are one. Jen, you've lost me. You just batshit crazy. Why are you even talking about this? Because it's important to understand who you are and your level of where you're at going inside. Many of you right now are dealing with inter turmoil, inter conflict, inter decision making. How I know that this is bad for me, Jen. I know this relationship is horrible. I know this job is bad. I know my marriage is bad. I know my relationship with these people in my family are horrible. I know I need to cut ties. How do I do it? There's not one set answer for that, because you have to decide that on an individual basis. Well, why don't you just, if you're going to preach about it, why don't you just give me the answer? Well, honey, if there was a manual to spiritual life and ascension, honey, it would have already been printed. It's not. This is an individual journey for you. Okay, your destination's already been proven. You know where you're going to end up if you make sure that your journey is well aspected. If you are so focused, I'm going to go into the next part as well. I lost count. Don't care. The next part is you are so focused on the three-dimensional, I have to have answers, I have to have it in a physical form. I need answers. It has to be tangible, something I can see in the news. It's something I have to feel. I need proof. Honey, sweetheart, precious, listen to me. Bless your heart. If you are still stuck in that mind frame, you're nowhere near ascension, because you like 3D. You like three-dimensional because you like control, you like the ego, you like someone telling you what to do and what can be controlled and what can't. You like that. Makes you feel good. It releases endorphins for you. You appreciate it. Well, it's something I can control. It's something I can tangibly touch, see, and feel, and control, and that's all there is to it. Well, honey, if you're spending 110% of your time looking at intel, Q movement, beautiful thing, great. Great awakening, gave us a base. But if you're still there, and you're not doing the Great Awakening journey, which means spirituality, and you're still looking for comms, and you're looking for, yes, we all look to it. I use my channel all the time, and I say, what is bothering you? What questions do you have today? I will pull cards on it to make you feel better. Do you understand? I don't give a rat's ass what happens. We're going to war. No, we're not. All these things that you keep focusing on, well, it says this, the China balloon, it's all bullshit, but you're so focused on it. The chemtrails, where's my money? If you're so focused on the RV, is it beautiful? Yes, it is. Is quantum beautiful? Yes, it is. Is having your financial independence back very worth it? Of course it is. If you're willing to stay in a three-dimensional world. Is it important for us to ascend? Yes, it is. You're stuck. You're stuck. It is important. Let's look into it. I'm willing to look into it as well. But you have to understand, you're so stuck there. When's it happening? I'm getting tired of listening to all these people. And this is not throwing anybody under the bus, by the way, because we have beautiful people in the community. And that's their purpose. That's their soul contract. We have beautiful people like Brother Mark Z, Dr. Pruitt. We have all these beautiful people that are totally into the financial, and they're getting you ready, and they're setting you ready. You're just there. And then you have a spiritual community that are trying to get you to understand that it's important. That's okay to ask questions. It's fine. But what is outweighing the other? Where are you at spiritually and going within with the Christ consciousness and ascension? Because once you get to that point, you don't give a rat's ass about any of that stuff. Yeah, it's going to happen. Great. And I'll be here long enough. As long as my soul contract holds out and I'm supposed to be here in a three-dimensional world, I will do it. I'll get money and I'll give it to everybody. I'm just going to give it away and say, hey, go do your thing. Make humanity better. I'm out. How can you say that, Jen? Because I can, because I don't care. It's not important to me. What is important to me is that I have peace of mind, spirit, and soul. And that I go within and connect with my Creator. And that's Christ consciousness. Are we all on the same level? No, we're not. We're here, we're here, we're here, we're here. We can go on and on and on. You understand what I'm saying? There is a difference in what you're going through. And you could be with someone that totally does not understand a single word you're saying, but you know that you've gone within to find your spirituality and say, I can't stay down here anymore. I will not be responsible for ruining marriages. I am not saying that. I am not going to be responsible for cutting ties and saying, screw you, family, I'm out. I'm not going to be responsible for that you just quit your job and you say, fuck it all. That is not my job. My job is to lead you spiritually, to let you know that you're not alone, that you are on the right track. You have to individually decide the timing of those things by talking to your Creator and understanding who you are within. I know, Jen, you're sounding like you're talking in circles. I wish I could understand that. I wish I could understand your level. I'm not where many people are. Many people are ascended masters way above me. Don't take my word for it. God, please don't do that. But what I do understand is that I do have a connection to my Creator. And these three-dimensional things that everybody wants to do and focusing on financial and chemtrails and yes, it's important to know these things because we have to live here and we have to protect our family. I get it. But is that all you're focused on? Is that all you're focused on? Do you have a greater goal? Are you willing to go beyond that and go, you know what, I'm so sick of that? Is your spirit, go within and ask your spirit, I'm so sick and tired. You already know this. It doesn't sit right. The people make my skin crawl. I'm used to being around them. They're my family members. They're my friends. They're my community. They're my church. They're whatever. I just go through the motions. Check the box. Salute. Go on. You're checking boxes. That's all you're doing. You're going through the motions. You don't have spirit and your soul consciously moving you forward to a higher level because you're not willing to break free of that. That's what we're talking about. What's your breaking point? I can't tell you that. I'm not here to tell you that. I'm here to get you to understand when you're starting to question it. I'm here to get you to understand that when you know that nothing sits right in your spirit, you're not meant to stay there. The question is, where do you need to go to break it so you can keep moving forward, okay? Or do you feel that the three-dimensional world is better for you and I'm just going to stay here to keep the peace, make sure nothing rocks the boat? That's the question. It's not an easy question to answer. I move forward every day. And guess what, guys? There are days that I will fall backwards going, it's more important for me to focus on the three-dimensional My husband's still working. I still have to put food on the table. Of course, that's reality. But I have to pull myself out of it, and I go right back up to where I needed to be. I'm not worried about it because I don't care. I know my Creator is going to provide no matter what. The timing of everything is up to my Creator, not me. I can manifest, and I can work within myself and work with my Creator to help it. And as long as I'm doing the yo-yo thing and the roller coaster thing, where are you going? Where are you going? Jen, you've lost me. You've run your mouth for 45 minutes and you've totally lost me. I don't think that I have. I think that I may to a certain point, because I'm not an expert. I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not an expert on any of this. I'm talking about life experience, and I'm talking about spirituality, of spending so much time out of this dimension, coming back down here and putting it into humanistic words that you can understand is almost impossible. Because you don't want to be nasty and ugly and tell people that, are you that stupid? Don't we do that to everybody else? That's not helping the situation. It's getting you to understand. Do you understand there's a difference between staying in a three-dimensional world and ascending forward? And the sacrifices that will have to be made in order for you to do it. Do you realize that it's okay for you to ascend forward even if you're alone doing it? Meaning the spouse doesn't come, the children don't come, the cousins, aunts, uncles, parents don't come, co-workers don't come, I'm walking away and I'm out. You do realize that that's okay, right? You don't have to seek permission. You just say, I can't do this anymore. I am above this. When you get to that point, there's no worry, there's no fear, there's no room for fear in that level. Fear doesn't exist. That's a three-dimensional matrix thought process. This is not real. This is about control and fear. As long as you're willing to do what they tell you, herd the sheep, herd the canals, bah, just do as you're told, just do as you're told. Well, you can't do that. Well, I don't think that's right. Well, you just need to shut up and keep going because you're going to upset somebody. Don't upset the spouse. Don't upset the parents. Don't upset your children. Don't upset your employer. Don't do anything. You just need to stay focused and just do as you're damn well told and just do it. Well, I'm that batshit crazy person, being a tourist. Yeah. Bull in a china shop who just went, did you just fucking tell me what to do? Excuse me, have we met? Because I'm not doing it. You can push me and push me and push me. The harder you push me, the harder I'm going to push back until I go, fuck you. I know who I am. It doesn't have to be in the terminology of sovereignty. Thank you, Jay, for pointing that out. I didn't realize that I was not being clear about that. In a three-dimensional world, and you need that with your nation, and you need it in a three-dimensional identification of who you are, use the term sovereignty. Once you go higher level than that, there's no such words, because you are one. Jen, you lost me. You gone almost an hour and you just batshit crazy. Well, that's okay. That's alright. If it resonates, yes, I left out the G. Resonates, then great. If it doesn't, you're just not ready. Does that make you wrong? No. It just means you're not ready. I've got some stuff that I gotta take care of. If somebody tells you that, you know what, if I ever tell you this, it's not because I personally told you this, is because Spirit and the cards told you this. If I tell you you need to cut ties and break a contract, it's because Spirit's telling you that. I will never tell you that. I don't know you. I don't know you from Adam or Eve. I know you well enough to know your spirit and your integrity behind your spirit, meaning your higher self and your guardians and your guides and your spirits and your ascended masters. Your creator tells me. I don't need to know anything about you. I just pull spirit. That's not Jen's personal opinion. I just do what Jen does. If it does not resonate with you, turn it off. I have no ego when it comes to that. Turn it off, unsubscribe, never listen to me again, put out a bad review on Yelp. I don't even think that's a thing. Whatever. But you know what I mean. She bet you're crazy. Go ahead, do what you gotta do. You think that affects me? I don't give a rat's ass. I don't. What I want you to understand is going within and understanding an alignment with Christ consciousness and at a higher level that you will never comprehend in the three-dimensional world. If you need to hang on to the three-dimensional world, then do it. However long that you need to do it. There's a couple of songs that I think I'm going to incorporate into this video. One of them was sent to me and it was done in it was meant to be not intentionally towards me. It was done intentionally towards her, and then I found the beauty of music behind it where I can reverse it and say, now reverse it. With music, like I said, ignore the artist, understand the thought process and the words behind it. Not only the music, I'm not talking about frequency, let's not get into that crap. I'm not talking about frequency. I'm talking about what it means to you in a three-dimensional aspect. If someone sends you a song and you're like, wow, that's a slap in the face, reverse it. Flip everything up on its end. The Wheel of Fortune. Turn everything around. Make it for your benefit. We don't sit and wallow in self-pity. We don't self-wallow in a three-dimensional thought process where people determine who you are. Your individuality under your creator is who you are. How about you start believing it? Well, Jen, you're asking me to do some major thing. Jen didn't ask you to do anything. Your higher self and your creator are talking to you. Your spirit guides are talking to you. The only reason that it's resonating with you is because you know that whatever they put into my mouth struck a chord. You have to go within. No one said this has to be on warp speed. No one said that you have to be slow. You know, you want to do tortoise and the hare. You can split hairs all day. You want to go fast? You want to go slow? Find a medium ground. I don't care. You got to do you. Everyone is different. 3-dimensional world, 5-dimensional world, 12-dimensional world. If I was in 12-dimensional right now, you wouldn't even be seeing me. I look drained because I have to force myself to come back down here. I'm here for you. I've told you that since I started this channel. I'm here for you. This is about you. I know where I'm at. I have no regrets. I will be here as long as my contract allows me to be here. I'm just trying to get you to, I'm doing a pre-record. Go back and listen to it 1,000 times. You can go back into it, do it 5 minutes and go, you're fucking nuts, woman, and delete it. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. Go within yourself. And if you have doubts of your life in your path that you're on right now, question why, who, do the what, when, where, how, why, all that stuff. We were taught that as little kids. At least our generation was. Go through all the questions. And if you know it doesn't sit right, why are you allowing it to continue? And if you know you want to make a change, ask yourself, is it a rapid speed? Is it a slow process? Do I have to slowly do these changes? If you want confirmation, this is not a promotion for private readings. If you want one, hit me up. But I'm not here to do that. This is just a video to get you to question your inner self, who you are. I'm going to go back and watch it and decide whether I want to put it up or not. I don't feel that I've said anything out of context that's not three-dimensional worthy, and I'll just put it that way. A lot of us that are on a different dimension are still asking ourselves and scratching our heads going, okay, I'm very confused. Should we be asking the questions that we are? Spirituality, what's been kept from us? What are we looking into? Is this really important? Do we care? Does it really change who we are? Some of it. Some of it is just an egotistical three-dimensional thought process of I need confirmation. No different than you are. Just depends on what level it is. At the end of the day, who cares? Your goal is to have an alignment with your Creator. Going within yourself and understanding your individuality with your Creator. Sovereignty is not even a word on that level, because you are who you are. Does that make any sense? Probably not. I digress. I will let you go. I just want you to understand, I'm going to try to incorporate in the description box, I'll try to put some links to some songs. If you want to talk further, or you want me to elaborate in another video, or we can make a show about it where it's live so we can interact, I don't have a problem with that. This is just stuff that sits heavy on coming from that dimension and coming back down here. I'm going, what are you all even doing? Why are we even having this conversation? Well, I'm worried about war, and I'm worried about chemtrails, and I'm worried about this, and I'm worried about that. Why? Do you want to stay here? That it's that important to you? That you're totally focused on staying here, and if that's your plan, that's why I keep pulling cards on it. Is the IRS real? Are the chemtrails real? Are we going to war? All the things that I keep pulling cards on, I've done over and over again, and nothing has changed. It doesn't matter. It's not what you think it. Why is it so important to you? Because you are determined. You can be in denial all you want to. Jen, you're being nasty and ugly. No, I'm not. Because you're determined to stay in a three-dimensional world. I'm not. I don't care. There's no war. There's no taxes. There's no more slavery. There's no more of that. I don't care. I'm out. I don't follow their guidelines anymore. You ain't the boss of me. We can turn 2 years old again. You ain't the boss of me. I'm going to tell. Who are you going to tell? Your creator. Your creator already knows. There's no one to tell. Your creator knows. Your creator's just sitting there going, please come here, child. Understand who you are. And understand that Jen loves you, no matter what dimension we're in. Jen's just batshit crazy and has a weird way of talking to people. And Jen has a weird way of communicating with people. If it doesn't resonate, turn it off. I don't care what you do. The thumbs it down. I don't care, because I'm not a three-dimensional person. I don't care. I'm supposed to tell you all that stuff. In a three-dimensional world, thumbs up, share, subscribe, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care who the president is. I don't care about any of the crap. Is it important to some people? Yes, it is. Are you going to stay there? That's what I'm asking. I just want to know my Creator and what I'm capable of. And that's the enemy's biggest fear. They want you in fear. You know what their fear is? Is you figuring out who you are. And when you do that and you go within, honey, you can't be stopped. You can't be stopped. There's no stopping you. You have no boundaries. But until we get to that point, whether we do it together or we do it individually, know that I do have your back. Not nasty and ugly. I'm just trying to help. Resignate doesn't resonate. It's okay. Either way, I love you. I love you. Love and light. I'm always, that's a three-dimensional because where I'm at, we don't need There's no need for it. We're not at war. There's no question. Figure out you. I'll go back and figure out if I want to post this. Wings is saying, oh, you'll post it. Because I'm just that stubborn. That's the Taurus in me. I learned a lot. I learned a lot working with Nadia on a personal level this weekend, doing healings, cleansing. If you need help and you want to advance and feel like, I understand what you're saying, Jen, but I don't know how to get from this point to this point, you have to tell me. I can't read your mind. Psychics and tarot readers are two totally different things. Okay? I don't do that. It doesn't work here that way. The cards are a tool. My intuition and my ability to read things and get downloads is based on the individual permission from you and the free will of people. I do not interfere with that. If you do not give me permission and you have a blockage, I'm not going to pick up on it because you said no. And that's your 3D world. You really want me to go deep diving? Honey, let go. I'm here and I'll help you. I promise. Okay? I love you. Thank you for listening to me. I know. You're saying, shut up, Jen. And you look like crap. It is what it is. That's three-dimensional life, and it's a physical manifestation in this meat sack that I live in. My spirit, my energy, great. It's just this is the thing that I live in, and that's okay. You're worth it. And this is about you. And I love you. I love you. Reach out if you need me. Okay? And if I sounded crazy, whatever. Turn it off. If you just have questions, ask your questions. Alright? I love you. Blessings.